Let me ask you something. Would you wear the same underwear and t-shirt for a week straight? No? Check this out. These are my favorite underwear of all time. Buck Naked underwear by Duluth. A wonderful synthetic boxer brief that gives me everything that I need. They don't bunch, they don't really smell, and they're super comfortable, almost like you're wearing nothing. But there may be a new contender in town by this brand, Unbound. Still not quite convinced? All right, watch this, and then let's come back and talk. Now, I've owned merino wool clothing before, and while it was very comfortable and super soft, it wasn't very durable, and the claims of it not smelling didn't really follow through given the wear and tear that I was giving my clothing. Now, I'm a plus-size dude, and I probably sweat more than most. So I've been skeptical to come back to merino wool because it couldn't really deliver in the same way that it did for the skinnier guys who don't sweat. But I've been really interested to see whether or not advances in marine wool technology and some new brands could deliver. So I'm going to give these a try. Good looking underwear. They look comfortable. They're probably going to feel amazing. But the question is, are they going to be able to stand up to a thicker dude who's a little bit more moist than most? So what I'm going to do with these Unbound boxer briefs is I'm going to wear them for the entire week. I'm not going to wash them. At the end of the day, I'm going to hang them up, let them air out, and then put them on the next day. And we'll see how it holds up. All right, so you probably heard that merino wool is a fantastic fabric. And I've actually used merino wool clothing. It's my go-to fabric for my long johns that I use for hunting in cold weather. It's fantastic fabric, but I hadn't really tested out the claims of whether or not this would be a good everyday or even travel clothing fabric to use. But the thing is, I have this really long trip coming up in May where I'm going to be gone for 3 weeks straight, including 2 weeks in Rajasthan, India, right before the monsoon rains hit. It's going to be hot. And I want to pack light. I don't want to check any baggage, but for a 3-week trip with my conventional clothes was going to be nearly impossible to keep in a carry-on. So I started doing some research and came across 2 clothing brands with some seemingly outlandish claims that you could wear their clothing for weeks straight and not have to wash them. Now, that's all well and good for smaller folks who don't sweat as much as I do, but I was really skeptical as to whether or not these bits of clothing were going to work well for me. And because of the cost of high quality merino wool clothing, I didn't want to just jump in without testing them beforehand. So that's what this video is all about. I'm going to wear these 2 bits of clothing for an entire week, give them a sniff test each day, and then tell you what I think at the end. I'll talk about whether or not merino wool clothing is something that I'm willing to invest in. Spoiler alert. So hopefully by the end of this video, you'll be able to decide whether or not this clothing is worth the investment. All right, let's get going. My initial impressions of these boxer briefs is that they are really, really nice quality. They feel great, they look amazing, and the size looks to be about what I'm looking for. They're an extra large, and if we compare that to my current favorite underwear, Buck Naked, you can see they're roughly the same size, about the same waist and length in the leg. Now, these underwear I've had for a couple of months, and so they're a bit more stretched out than these Unbound underwear. So I'm curious to see how they fit, but at least from the start, they look pretty good. So I decided to go with 2 brands, Unbound and Woolen Prints, and I chose these brands because, quite frankly, they were the ones that were most widely reviewed on YouTube. Now, both of these brands specialize in travel clothing, and since I have this long trip coming up, I thought these would be good brands to go with, and putting them to the test was going to be important to decide whether or not it was going to be worth the investment. And if it didn't work out, I'd have some expensive but comfortable underwear and t-shirt that I could wear in my regular wardrobe. The upside, though, is that if these pieces of clothing held up, they had the potential to completely transform my wardrobe. Yes, this clothing is expensive, but if you're able to wear it multiple days, then you don't have to have as many clothing items in your closet. So we're talking about a 75% reduction in both laundry and number of clothing items that I would have in my closet, which is something that would be awesome if I was able to pull it off. Fresh out of the shower, got my Unbound undies to put on, and thus begins the week-long test of whether or not these guys are gonna hold up. So, just 1 second. Hey folks, I just wanted to take a break and let you know that one of the best ways to get the most out of the content on this channel is to subscribe to my newsletter. Every Sunday, I give you more depth and insight into the topics I cover on Out There JCH, including thoughts and perspectives that I don't really share on this platform. The newsletter is free to sign up, and as an incentive to becoming a subscriber, I'm offering a free wild food resource guide that will help make you a more capable harvester and home cook. Just click the link in the description to sign up. Okay, let's get back to the episode. Oh, well, they're on, and they feel really nice. Nice and comfortable, nice and snug. Yeah, they feel pretty good. I like the elastic band. It's, it's a good fit. So I'm gonna spare y'all the crotchal shots and stuff like that. Just take my word for it. So yeah, day one, night one. Wear these tonight, and then I will give them a sniff in the morning, see how they smell, and go about my day. Probably gonna work out in the morning too while wearing them, so that'll be part of the test. So yeah, but so far I'm digging them. They feel really good as the buck naked underwear. Maybe a little bit better because they cling, but really nice feel. All right, see you in the morning. Oh yeah, one quick note. None of this video is sponsored by Unbound, Woolen Prints, or any other clothing company. I purchased these items with my own money and are reviewing them for my own edification. That being said, Unbound, Woolen Prints, any other merino wool clothing companies, if you're looking for someone who's a little bit outside the norm of the people who review your clothing and you want to send me something to review, I'll be happy to do that. All right, so it's the morning and the undies slept really well. You can see, there you go, really nice. So I'm getting a little workout in before I start the day. So far, they're great. All right, so I'm back home. It's about 3 o'clock, and I've been wearing my new underwear all day, and it's been fantastic. Haven't really noticed any difference in levels of comfort between this pair of underwear and my favorite underwear, the Buck Naked ones. They're both seamless, really comfortable. Don't really know they're there. The only drawback to these underwear that I'm wearing are the fact that they don't have a hole in the front for an easy sort of peek and pee. The big test will be to see what they smell like after a full day of wearing them. At the end of the day, I'll hang them up so that they can kind of air out. The other exciting thing is my other piece of wool clothing just arrived. So this is the merino wool shirt by Woolen Prints, and I'm going to be doing a 1-week challenge with this particular shirt. I'm going to be wearing 2 merino wool garments for this entire week, and we'll see how they work. Day 1, almost in the books. Really like these underwear. They're really great, but are they worth double the price of my synthetic underwear? We'll just have to wait and see. All right. Okay, so initial impressions are pretty nice. Simple packaging, I love that. Not any plastic or anything. Okay, so this is the signature tee, size extra large, made in Korea. Just your basic black t-shirt. And I'm really excited to wear one of these because I have one of my favorite shirts to wear is a black t-shirt. But I've just been wearing like cheap cotton ones, and they don't last, they don't hold up. I have to change them after 1 day of wear. So they're not really my favorite thing. So if this t-shirt ends up working out, then that'd be really great. So you all know the 100-day challenge by Woolen Prints. You wear their t-shirt for 100 straight days without washing it. So I don't know if I'm going to go that far, but I think I'm going to pair it with the Unbound boxer briefs that I've been wearing and just sort of see how they hold up. So I think I may wear this to sleep tonight like I did with the underwear and see how it feels in the morning. But I'm really excited about this, and we'll see how it goes. I like this motto here, own less, own better. Okay, so wearing the tee feels great. I originally thought that maybe extra large might be too big, but I think it's fitting quite nicely. Looks great. It's nice on the arms and everything. So yeah, I don't know that I'm going to wear it overnight. I think I want to start off with it just sort of wearing it fresh tomorrow. But yeah, it's a little bit big. I wonder what a large would feel like. But so far, I'm digging it. All right, it's the end of day one with my unbound underwear. Wore them all day. It's a good day. Didn't really notice them. They're really nice underwear. I'm giving them a sniff test to see how they held up. I mean, they do smell like they've been worn, but not terrible. But the real test will be what they smell like in the morning. So I'm gonna hang these up, let them air out, and then put them on again tomorrow. So yeah, I'm gonna take care of these, go take a shower. Not terrible. All right, good morning. Let's see about these underwear. So I let them sit and kind of air out. So they still kind of have a smell to them. It's not as bad as some of my underwear are after wearing them a day, where I would be like, no, I need to wash them. But it's not exactly fragrance free. All right, so I just dropped the kids off at school and it's pretty cold out. All I have on is this 3-in-1 jacket and I've got the Unbound Merino wool t-shirt on underneath and it feels great. I was just thinking that, it's about 20 something degrees out right now. And I was just thinking that how warm my body felt. It's just really comfortable, this t-shirt. And it's nice to know that I can be warm with just the garment on top of it and this merino wool underneath. So this shirt is already one of the best feeling clothing garments that I have. I kind of knew that was going to be the case. It's merino wool, it's soft, it's really comfortable, it's warm but breathable, all of those sorts of things. The real test with this is the smell test and whether or not this shirt is actually going to hold up and still be fresh without needing to be washed. I like being able to just throw it on and then go out of the house when it's really cold, have a jacket on, but still feel pretty warm and cozy. So yeah, it's pretty nice. So the shirt, after one day of use, doesn't really smell. The right armpit, it's got a little bit of fragrance to it, but the real test will be in the morning to see. All right, let's do the sniff test for the undies. All right, sniff test for the undies. Just like yesterday, you can tell they've been worn, but again, like I would have expected more funk from 2 days of use. And I could not do this with my buck naked underwear. Like they wouldn't smell like this. They would smell like a big man has worn them for 2 days straight without washing. Like they've been worn, but it's not like, whoo, that's super funky. I am impressed. Evidence for me to like want to buy more of these. Gonna hang these up and let them air dry, and then we're gonna go again tomorrow. Day 3 for these undies and day 2 for this undershirt. I'm really curious to see if the right pit, which is kind of funky right now, just like a little bit, what it smells like in the morning. But so far, both of these items are exceeding my expectation. Yeah, I'm digging it. Morning of day 3, smell test time. Same thing as last time. They smell worn, but it's not like super funky. Not too bad. This time the right pit had some funk to it, but there's a little bit there. Yeah, there's a little bit there. So I don't think this held up as well as I thought it would, but still not bad. So we'll wear the shirt again today, see what it looked like. Day 2 of the shirt, and it's definitely got some flavor to it. So this is actually good to know because if this shirt is actually performing the way that it should, this pit should not smell in the morning after it's aired out for about 8 hours. The shirt is holding up great. I mentioned earlier in the day that it feels amazing. And let me just get my underwear off here. This is day 3 for the underwear. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't smell terrible. Certainly smells better than my synthetic underwear by this time. So I don't know, I'm just really impressed so far. Really enjoying them. They feel amazing. So yeah, we'll see how they smell after they've aired out. But day 3 for the underwear in the books, day 2 for the shirt in the books, and yeah, I'm excited to see you tomorrow. All right, morning of day 4. Let's give it the sniff test. Wow, that's pretty wild. They don't smell like super fresh out of the box. They smelled a lot better than they did last night, so that's pretty incredible. And now the sniff test for the shirt. So I can still smell a little something. That funk has not quite dissipated, albeit it's a lot less than it was yesterday. And this is what I wanted to know. I expire more quickly than others, and the people that you see wearing these things are not people who are going to be sweating a tremendous amount anyway. I think this is a real test. A shirt that I wore 2 days straight without washing smelled like I would not be able to wear it again. So I'm not saying that this isn't big improvement. It smells like it's been worn. I'm still really liking it. 3 days with wearing a shirt. I've never been able to do that with any other shirt. So that's positive. End of day 4 for the undies. End of day 3 for the shirt. I got to be honest with y'all. Undies I'm starting to feel them. Okay. I'm starting to feel a little something down there. But 4 days of wearing the same underwear without washing it is pretty impressive. I think I'm going to give the smell test tomorrow morning. But just right now, I guess for the shirt, it smells like I've worn it all day. But again, it's not terrible. Let me just see about the underwear right here. Let me see about the right here. Okay, so 4 days straight of a husky dude wearing underwear without washing it. Do not try this at home. I'm gonna sniff off camera because I don't want you all to see this, but wow, they don't smell. Like they don't smell. I'm blown away. Like I'm feeling it. I'm feeling swarthy, but they're not smelling swarthy. They're just not. Again, they don't smell fresh, right? If the way these smelled coming out of the package were like this, I'd be like, who the hell wore my underwear? But like, other than that, like I'm all up in the crotch. And it smells like it's been worn, but like again, it's not like gross. Now, I haven't worked out in any of these things, any of these clothes. So I imagine it smelled differently. But I don't know. At the end of yesterday, I was a little bit skeptical, getting a little bit skeptical, but I'm back on the this is insane train. Like, it's wild that I don't. Again, if I wore a pair of any other underwear that I've ever owned for 4 straight days, I wouldn't have the courage to get that close to them. I don't know, y'all. I'm convinced. I'm convinced. These Unbound undies are where it's at. I need to get me more of these because I only need like 3 pairs of these underwear at one time ever. So on my trip to Wyoming, Atlanta, and then India for 2 weeks, I think I'm just going to go with 3 pairs of these and that's it. And I should be all right. I should always have one that's like fresh and one that I'm wearing and a backup. But again, like I'm all up in the crotch and I got nothing. Like you see it all up in the crotch. I won't even put my own face, even if I could, I wouldn't put my own face down there right now. That's bonkers. That's a wrap. That's a wrap for me. I'm sold. And I'm gonna put these on tomorrow. I'm gonna wear them tomorrow. 5 straight days. We'll see how long we go. All right. Day 5. Not terrible. Slight smell to it, but It's all good. Putting them on for a 5th day. All right, morning of day 6, and we're gonna give it the sniff test for the underwear. Starting to be a little something. Still not terrible. It's starting to slow down a little bit. All right, let's look at the sniff the shirt. There's a little something there. Very subtle, very subtle. This is day 6 for the underwear and day 5 for the shirt. I mean, still smelling good enough to wear. I think maybe 7 days would be the absolute limit for these underwear, for me. And that shirt is, keeps going. But yeah, I really think that this is going to be the thing to do on this upcoming trip, because, I can get at least 3 days out of them without it being too funky. And the shirts, will last probably over a week. Yep, I'm gonna wear them again. Day 7, surprisingly not terrible in terms of the smell. So I'm gonna wear them for this last time, and yeah, we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I've been really, really impressed by this. My shirt is holding up fine. There's a little bit more of a armpit funk smell to them than the underwear. But when I put it on, it really doesn't radiate. So there's a little bit of body odor in it. It's not super fresh, but it doesn't feel heavy with dirt and grime and stuff. So day 6 for the shirt. All right, so it's morning of day 7. I'm done wearing the Unbound underwear. Wore them for 7 days straight, and they performed great. I slept in them last night, actually, along with the shirt here, and it was a wonderful sleep. So one of the things that I had forgotten about merino wool clothing is how well it regulates your temperature and how nice it feels when you're sleeping. So I had a really good night sleeping last night in these things, and I decided to really kind of put this shirt through its final test of wearing it all day, sleeping in it all night, and then wearing it all day the next day, because this is going to simulate a lot of how things are going to be when I'm wearing these shirts on my trip coming up in May. So I'm really happy with the clothing. The shirt, still retains that little bit of worn funkiness, but this is a week and I'm still really happy with it. It does not smell sort of beyond me sticking my nose in my own armpit, and that's saying a lot. Like I said at the start of this test, I'm a different kind of person than you'll see on the ads for these clothing. Bigger guy, a little bit more sweaty, and these shirts are performing excellent for me. So that's really awesome. Really excited to get my next shipment of clothes. Unbound and Woolen Prints aren't sponsoring this video, but if y'all want to send me stuff to test, I'd love to. I'm gonna put your stuff through the test in India, which I'm pretty sure nobody has done explicitly, and certainly not somebody like me. Yeah, I'm really happy with it. I just feel so much more refreshed and relaxed in these clothing. I've got my synthetic underwear on now because, a week's enough to test a pair of underwear. I'm just really excited and really happy with these purchases. I am no longer a skeptic. This stuff is pretty dope. The ultimate test will be to see how they hold up in May when it's 105 degrees every day. That'll be a really interesting test. But for now, I'm really happy, and yeah, I just need to find some more money so I can buy more of these clothing items, because it's really kind of all I want to wear now. Anyway, gotta get to work, and yeah, hope y'all are having a good day. So long story short, I was blown away by how this undershirt and underwear held up for an entire week of wearing. Now, I did take showers every day. It was only my clothing that I didn't wash. And one of the important qualities of merino wool is that it's antimicrobial and antifungal. And when you talk about clothes that smell, it's actually the bacteria that's on your body that proliferates in the fluids and things that you leave behind in your clothing. But because merino wool clothing wicks moisture and dries so quickly and is naturally antimicrobial, the odor-causing bacteria and microbes don't have a chance to grow during the day, and certainly not at night when you hang up these clothing. So that means I'll be doing less laundry in my everyday wardrobe, and for my trip, I only have to pack a handful of clothing items to be able to make it through an entire 3 weeks, where I may not necessarily have access to laundry facilities. I suppose there's only 2 remaining questions that I have about these clothing. The first is, how are they processed after someone decides that they are no longer going to be wearing them. One of the biggest issues with a lot of the products that we buy is what happens to them when we're done with them. Are they recycled? Are they put into a landfill? And that's a question I don't really know the answer for merino wool. But even if there isn't a recycling program per se, we have a natural fiber here, which presumably if you put it in the ground would naturally biodegrade. Now, most of the clothing that you can buy from these companies has some sort of synthetic portion, either 10% or 20%, 30%, maybe even almost 50% for some of the clothing items that they offer. And so if it has polyester or nylon in it, then that's not going to biodegrade as cleanly as the wool will biodegrade. So that's my first question. And then my second and probably most important question is, how do these hold up after months or maybe even years of use? And the only way to find that out is actually wear these clothes for an extended period of time. But after a week's worth of wearing and couple of more purchases, I'm really happy with the quality, the durability, and the lack of funkiness that these clothes have. Now, whether or not you should invest in merino wool clothing is kind of up to you, but if you're interested in reducing your laundry load, reducing your footprint in terms of the amount of clothing that you have in your wardrobe, then I think it's really worth checking out. Are these clothes worth the investment for me? Absolutely, no question. For you? Maybe check it out. Now, if you're looking for other advice on things that I recommend, check out this video where we'll talk kitchen supplies. All right, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time on